Aid. My mother passed out. She seemed to be in discomfort. When I picked up the phone on my day off, I heard Hannah, the daughter of my senior coworker Sarah, crying. Wait a minute. I'm on my way now. I hurried as quickly as I could to Sarah's place. I walked over and called out to her, but she didn't answer. I called for an ambulance because I could take it no more. Everything will work out. Soon, we'll be in the hospital. Hannah's little shaking hand felt chilly in my own. I'm Chris, and I'm 31 years old. I'm a salesperson for Rivertech Industrial Parts, a business that sells parts for machinery. I've always been seen as a serious person who never backs down from a challenge. However, the truth is that, as a salesperson, I haven't been successful in closing any significant deals. I sometimes get discouraged and question whether hard work is sufficient on its own. But I don't give up and keep going. Sarah, my senior colleague, is a major contributor to it. She is only 2 years older than me, at 33. Clients have a great deal of faith in Sarah, since she is a composed and accomplished salesperson. I developed a great deal of respect and admiration for her after witnessing her in action, using a variety of strategies and managing clients with poise. I've grown to cherish the time I get to talk to Sarah during breaks. She manages even the most challenging clients with ease and maintains her composure. She is an incredible mentor. Before I realized it, my feelings for Sarah had progressed beyond simple admiration. However, because she is married, I can only look up to her from a distance. My feelings would never be returned, even if they were to develop farther than that. Just being by her side, even if it's just at work, is sufficient for me. At the absolute least, though, I want to get better at my job and catch up to her. I've been putting a lot of effort into improving myself. I don't mind staying up late, actively trying to increase sales, and constantly trying to improve. Sarah grinned and remarked, Chris, you've been working really hard lately, after noticing my effort. You should teach me. No, Sarah, I should be the one learning from you. I'm inspired by the work you do. I'm grateful. Making sure our clients appreciate working with us is what I constantly try to concentrate on. They will want to return to us if they do. I see. If you keep that in mind, I believe you can win over any client. I was always amazed by her tremendous sense of purpose in her job. Knowing someone like her made me feel proud. Chris, with all this overtime, don't you have trouble finding time to go on dates? Sarah asked me one day. That is not a concern for you. I don't have a romantic partner. Oh, I see. As she appeared somewhat uncomfortable, I went on. Well, I'm pretty much just a boring guy who's only good at being serious. It is really vital to be serious. It also manifests in the way you approach your work. Someone will value your seriousness one day. You think so? Yeah, if you ask me, being serious is the best quality in a husband. I didn't fully comprehend Sarah's statement that the best quality was being serious until much later. Sarah and I eventually began discussing personal matters. I even thought we were getting closer as our chats became more personal. Sarah, you're married, so it must be tough juggling work and everything else, right? Chris, I'm a single mother. I was surprised. I always thought Sarah was content with her marriage. However, learning that she had gone through a divorce. Nevertheless, she continued working as usual in spite of everything. I was unable to recognize the extent of Sarah's struggles because of this. I was embarrassed that I hadn't realized. The feelings I had been suppressing appeared to suddenly explode all at once. Sarah said to me, Hannah is the name of my daughter. She is now 9 years old. She is incredibly intelligent for her age, even though I am her mother. Her grin alone gives me the strength to face each day. I am able to continue moving forward because of Hannah. Her face, radiating the strength and tenderness of a mother, looked so beautiful. I found myself even more captivated by Sarah. That's why I was so determined to succeed at work and produce results as quickly as possible. I actively emulated Sarah's methods, absorbing every bit of sales knowledge I could. I started to think that once I achieved some real success, I'd finally be able to confess my feelings to her. My feelings grew stronger each day, swelling more and more. It got to the point where I could barely handle them myself. One day, with a slightly clouded expression, Sarah confided in me, "I only got divorced recently. It's tough being a single mom." Although Sarah clearly had personal struggles, she never let them show at work. She never mixed her personal life with her job. Despite the difficulties she was facing, she kept giving her all. I found myself wondering if I should step further into her personal life. Then one day, Sarah handed me a book, saying, "Chris, you should read this. It really helped me with my sales, and I'm sure you'll find it useful too." With that, she passed me the book. "Thank you. I'll borrow it." That night, I stayed up reading it. I read it over and over, determined to make sure I fully understood it, vowing to apply it to my work just as Sarah had. The techniques in the book were invaluable for my future in sales. I immediately put the techniques from the book into practice without hesitation. As a result, I started to see my efforts pay off, with my performance gradually improving. My relationships with clients improved, and my sales performance started to rise. One day, I decided to return the book to Sarah at her home. I called her, saying, "Thank you so much for the book the other day. Thanks to you, my sales numbers are going up. I'd like to return the book now." "You can just bring it to the office," she said, but I couldn't let it go. I bought a cake from a newly opened shop that had great reviews and headed to her house. Sarah's house wasn't too far from my apartment. It was about a 15-minute walk. As I walked, lost in thought, I soon arrived at Sarah's home. I felt a bit nervous, but I took a deep breath and tried to stay calm. Finally, I pressed the doorbell. "Yes, who is it?" A sweet, cheerful voice answered. It was Hannah, Sarah's daughter, answering in her place. "I'm Chris from Sarah's office." "Mom, it's Chris." "Thank you, Hannah," I heard Sarah say through the door, and I couldn't help but smile. A moment later, the door opened. "Chris, thank you for going out of your way," Sarah said, welcoming me with a smile. Hannah peeked out from behind her. She looked just like her mom. "Nice to meet you, Hannah. I'm Chris. Thank you for always taking care of my mom. I can see why Sarah says you're so smart, even though you're only 9. I thought, she's such a confident and articulate kid. I'm the one who's grateful for all the help," Sarah said. When I said that, Hannah looked at Sarah and tilted her head with a smile, as if to say, "I told you so." The other day, she lent me a book. "Sarah, please enjoy this with Hannah," I said, handing a box of cake to Sarah. "Thank you. This is from that new cake shop, right?" "Yes. Hannah and I were just saying we wanted to try it sometime." "Great, thanks so much, Chris." I watched the two of them with a smile. I suddenly wondered if Hannah's first impression of me was okay. But when I saw Hannah waving and saying, "Bye, Chris, take good care of my mom," okay, I felt relieved. "Bye, Hannah." I could feel the distance between Sarah and me getting closer, and it made my heart race. Talking to Sarah after work and our chats during breaks were becoming something I really looked forward to. "Chris, that cake was so good. Hannah loved it and told me to thank you." I'm so glad she enjoyed it. She looked so happy. I wish you could have seen her cheeks practically bursting with joy. Seeing Sarah's happy face made me feel happy too. "Let's keep doing our best together," she said with a smile. I found myself even more drawn to Sarah, feeling my feelings for her growing stronger by the day. But I could tell that she was struggling to balance work and family. I was starting to really want to support Sarah, a single mom, with all my heart. Every time I saw that tired smile of hers, it looked like she was holding back tears. And each time, I thought, "Sarah, you don't have to push yourself so hard. It's okay to cry when things are tough. Cry if it helped you smile again tomorrow. These feelings were always locked inside my heart, but I genuinely wanted to protect that smile of hers. At the same time, I felt a strong desire to support not just her work, but her life too. One weekend, I got a call from Sarah. Sarah's calling me on her day off. I wonder what's going on. Feeling confused, I quickly answered the phone. Hello, it's Chris. Help, Mom collapsed. She looks like she's in pain. It was her daughter, Hannah, on the phone. What? I could hear her sobbing on the other end. Hannah, wait, I'm coming right now. Grabbing only my wallet and phone, I rushed to Sarah's house. After ringing the doorbell, a tearful Hannah opened the door. Chris, my mom is. I rushed inside and found Sarah unconscious. Sarah. I called her name, but she was unresponsive. Thankfully, she was still breathing. I had immediately called for an ambulance and did my best to help by placing her in a recovery position. Before long, the ambulance arrived and I got in with Hannah. Her face was filled with worry. No matter how mature she seems, she's still just 9 years old. Her only parent had collapsed, and she must have been terrified and overwhelmed with fear. I gently held her hand and said, Hannah, it's going to be okay. We're almost at the hospital. Her small hand was cold and trembling. Once Sarah was taken to the hospital, her condition stabilized, and it turned out not to be too serious. Hannah, your mom's going to be okay. Isn't that great? Yeah, Hannah said. She had stopped crying. Relieved, I sat with her in the hospital room, watching over Sarah as she rested. The whole time, Hannah never let go of my hand. Where am I? Sarah woke up, looking around in confusion. You're in the hospital. You collapsed at home. Hannah called me, and I came over and called an ambulance. Hannah did. Yes, Mom collapsed, so I used your phone to call Chris. I'm so glad you're awake, Mom. Hannah, you're so brave. Thank you, and I'm sorry for worrying you, Sarah said, stroking Hannah's head. Her eyes filled with tears. Then, turning to me, she said in a trembling voice, Thank you, Chris. The doctor said it was caused by exhaustion and stress. What happened? If you're comfortable, I'd like to help in any way I can. After thinking for a moment, Sarah slowly began to speak. You know I told you I'm divorced, right? Well, my ex-husband secretly made me a co-signer on his loans and then disappeared with the debt. I've been struggling to pay it off ever since, and it's made life incredibly hard. Each month, I tried reaching out to his family and friends, but no one knows where he is. I've been at a complete loss, but I had to keep going for Hannah's sake. That's why I've always believed being serious was the most important thing, because I watched how irresponsible my ex was. Hearing how difficult her life had been made my heart ache. I realized how much she had been enduring all this time while working so hard. My ex was addicted to gambling. Any money he earned, he blew it all instead of supporting us. The debt just kept piling up. Eventually, he even tried to take the money I'd saved for household expenses. No matter what I said, he wouldn't listen. I couldn't bring myself to divorce him, though, because he's Hannah's father. But one day, Hannah said to me, Mom, I don't have a dad. He never plays with me, and when I see him, he just yells at me. I only want to be with you, Mom. Just the two of us. Please divorce him. That gave me the courage to finally leave him, but I never thought I'd still be haunted by him after the divorce. As Sarah recounted the awful details of her ex-husband's behavior, I felt a wave of anger rise up inside me. Thinking about how Hannah must have felt when she said those words to her mom filled me with sorrow. I looked at Sarah and said, Sarah, is there any way I can help you outside of work? But she drew a line, saying, I don't want to trouble you any more than I already have. Chris, at that moment, I remembered Hannah's small hand. She was so worried about her mother that her hand was cold and trembling. That's why I truly wanted to help both Sarah and Hannah. I felt a deep ache in my heart, but I resolved that I wouldn't give up. One day, Sarah said to me, "Chris, I want to thank you for everything you've done. If you're free, could you come over this weekend? Hannah really wants to thank you too." Her unexpected invitation filled me with excitement. I never imagined I'd have this kind of opportunity. I'm sure it was Hannah who made this happen. I felt genuinely grateful to her. On the weekend, when I rang the doorbell at Sarah's house, a cute voice responded, "Coming." Hannah opened the door and said, "Chris, thank you so much for the other day. Come on in." She took my hand with hers, her small one guiding me inside. "Mom's cooking right now, so just wait a bit." "Okay, sure," I said. "I made you a letter and a drawing, Chris. Here you go." Hannah handed them to me. The letter was in a cute envelope, and on the front, in her handwriting, it said, "To Chris." I could tell she must have worked really hard on it. Hannah, looking a bit shy, said, "Read it when you get home, okay?" The drawing she gave me had her in the middle, holding hands with me and Sarah. "Hannah, you're really good." When I complimented her, she beamed with joy. Just then, Sarah said, "Chris, welcome. Thank you again for everything the other day. I was thinking we could go out to a restaurant, but I'm sorry. I hope this is okay instead." She motioned to the table. "Please eat as much as you like." The table was filled with freshly cooked dishes. As I enjoyed the meal, I said, "Sarah, this is really delicious." Savoring her homemade food, I once again asked, "Please let me know if there's anything I can help with." But she firmly replied, "We're just coworkers. I really appreciate everything you did, but this and that are different matters." Despite her gratitude, Sarah was determined to maintain some distance between us. Meanwhile, Hannah had grown attached to me and even started saying, "Chris, you're like a dad." Her words caught me off guard. Every time I thought about Hannah, I remembered her small and trembling hand. I truly wanted to protect and support that little hand. When I got home, I immediately opened Hannah's letter. It read, "Dear Chris, thank you for coming when my mom collapsed. Thank you for holding my hand all the way to the hospital. I'm really glad you were there, Chris. Because you came so quickly, my mom was saved. Please keep taking care of her from now on." It looked like she had just learned some spellings, as the word for hospital seemed a bit difficult for her to write. But her feelings shone through in every word. I found myself reading the letter over and over again, but the words started to blur. I realized I was crying. "Hannah, thank you for such a beautiful letter," I whispered. At that moment, I made a renewed vow to help both of them, even if my feelings went unreturned. It didn't matter. I just wanted to help them because I wanted them to keep smiling always. Around that time, my boss, Tyler, began plotting against Sarah out of jealousy for her success. She's just a divorced woman, and yet she keeps landing all these contracts. I heard from a private investigator that she's stuck with her ex-husband's debt. No way am I going to let her keep doing whatever she wants. "Just wait and see," they said. Tyler gave a sly smile as he said that. This was later revealed by a senior member of the sales team who had been under his command. Tyler began spreading malicious rumors by exploiting Sarah's personal issues. "Have you heard about Sarah?" "Yeah, I heard she's got a huge debt. They say that's why she's using her charms to close deals. I didn't think she was like that. Kind of disappointing, right? I used to look up to her as a strong career woman. Maybe that's why her marriage fell apart. Her husband couldn't handle it. Yeah, I wouldn't want a wife like that either." The sales team was full of whispers. Gossip once started tends to snowball in all the wrong directions. "Did you hear that the recent contract was originally Tyler's, but the client requested Sarah instead? Apparently, she used her charm to win him over. Is it really worth going that far just to land a contract? Well, she's divorced and in debt, so maybe she needs to do that to survive. It's awful, isn't it? Maybe being divorced has made her desperate. The rumors were relentless. Of course, this eventually reached Sarah. Sarah, don't pay attention to those rumors, I said. Thank you, Chris, she said weakly. She was becoming increasingly isolated at work. The stress weighed heavily on her, though she maintained a calm facade. I could tell she was nearing her breaking point. Knowing she had collapsed before, I was constantly worried about her. I vowed to protect both Sarah and Hannah, and I became even more cautious of Tyler's schemes. I decided to gather evidence to expose Tyler's plot to bring Sarah down, but his schemes were clever, and finding solid proof wasn't easy. With little progress to show for my efforts, I thought, there's got to be evidence somewhere. I won't give up until I find it. Amidst all this, Hannah suddenly showed up at my office, catching me off guard. Hannah, what are you doing here? I asked. Mom hasn't been herself lately, she said. She seems really troubled. She's been talking in her sleep, saying things like, "It wasn't me who took out the loan. Why won't anyone believe me?" I think someone at work is saying that about her, so I came to explain. I don't want her to suffer anymore because of that awful person. I understand how you feel, Hannah, but I don't think that's a good idea, I replied. Why not? She asked. If you speak up, people might say your mom is using you, and that could hurt her even more. But what should I do then? Her pure-hearted concern moved me deeply. The truth is, I was raised by a single parent too. There was no way I could stand by and leave Hannah, also being raised by just one parent, without doing something. Hannah, I have an idea. What is it? You love your mom, right? Yeah, I love her so much, Hannah said with a big, carefree smile. How about we work together to protect your mom with you, Chris? Yes, with me. But this has to be our secret. Do you think you can keep it? Yeah, I can keep the promise with you. And so, Hannah and I formed a secret alliance. I started thinking of ways to support Sarah more effectively. I threw myself into my work even harder and began to consistently improve my sales performance. Man, Chris has been on fire lately. He used to rank below me, but now he's totally surpassed me, and I can't even catch up. Right? He was always serious, but his numbers were never that great. I guess all that dedication is finally paying off. My efforts started gaining attention within the company, and my reputation grew. At the same time, I discreetly reached out to Tyler's clients. I was trying to catch any sign of his wrongdoing. Eventually, I discovered that Tyler had been involved in shady deals with one of his clients, Matthew. I began monitoring Tyler's actions both inside and outside the company, preparing to expose his misconduct. Meanwhile, I knew I couldn't forget to be there for Sarah, who was still feeling isolated at work. One day, I finally obtained proof that Tyler and Matthew had been inflating invoices for fraudulent claims. Armed with this critical evidence, I headed to the company's higher-ups. Excuse me, I'm Chris from sales. Yes, we've been expecting you. So, what's this about? Are you aware that Tyler from the sales department has been colluding with a client, Matthew, to inflate invoices and defraud the company? I revealed Tyler's scheme to the executives. What? Please take a look at this data. This is the undeniable proof. Call Tyler in here immediately. Tyler was summoned to the office in a hurry. Tyler, what's the meaning of this? Explain yourself. The moment he saw the data, fear washed over his face. Oh, well, this is. He fumbled to explain, but the shock left him unable to offer any defense. To think someone in this company would stoop so low. This is a serious blow to our reputation. Do you understand the gravity of this situation? You will face severe consequences. Prepare yourself. Tyler collapsed on the spot, realizing the gravity of his downfall. News of the incident spread quickly throughout the company. Did you hear about Tyler? Unbelievable what he did, right? It's true, and you know Tyler was just jealous of Sarah and spread all those lies about her. So we were just dancing to Tyler's tune without realizing it. We really wronged Sarah. Yeah, Tyler lost all credibility in the company and left before any formal punishment could be handed down. Sarah, I'm so sorry. We believed everything Tyler said and ended up doubting you. It's true that I have debt, but I've never used my looks to land deals. Of course, I always aim to build good relationships with clients, but that's just being professional. Sarah gave a little chuckle. Sarah, from now on, be careful not to believe rumors so easily, okay? It's disrespectful to the clients as well. Thank you so much. After that incident, Sarah gradually regained her standing in the company. Chris, thank you. It's all thanks to you. Oh, I didn't really do that much. Don't be so modest. If it weren't for you, I might have had to leave the company. She said this with a fresh, relieved smile. From that moment on, I felt that our bond was growing even deeper. As I achieved success in the company, I also renewed my resolve to continue supporting both Sarah and Hannah. Sarah thanked me again by cooking a homemade meal. Hannah whispered in my ear, I'm keeping our secret, Chris. What? What are you talking about? With Chris, I just thanked Chris for helping my mom, Hannah said playfully. She was becoming more attached to me, and I felt that the bond between the three of us was getting even stronger. At some point, Sarah began to realize how much I meant to her. She later told me this. We started helping each other both in our professional lives and personally. One day, I told Sarah, I want to build a future with you and Hannah. Let's get married. Chris, that day I realized how irreplaceable you are to me. But I'm a divorced single mom, and yet you still want to be with me and Hannah. Thank you. Sarah was deeply moved by my words and decided to take that step forward with me. Hannah was our little Cupid. If it weren't for her, I don't think I would have gotten this close to Sarah. Finally, I was able to hold that small hand of Hannah's. Hannah, the picture you drew has come true. I was once again filled with gratitude for her presence in my life. We had a small wedding, inviting close friends and family. Sarah hesitated since it was her second wedding, but I told her, I want to see you in a wedding dress. I want to see Mom in her dress too, and I want to wear one. And I want to see Dad in a tuxedo. Hannah, I felt such love for Hannah when she called me Dad, and I hugged her tightly. She whispered excitedly in my ear, Our secret promise will keep going, Dad. The wedding was only possible because of Hannah. I thought to myself, she really is our little angel. About 6 months after the wedding, I invited Sarah and Hannah to go on a picnic. Growing up with just one parent, I had always dreamed of going on a family picnic like this. Hannah had been looking forward to it for weeks, saying, It's been so long since our last picnic. I'm so excited. I made a vow to always protect Sarah and Hannah, doing everything in my power to keep their smiles bright. Chris, you like this, don't you? You made this for me, as Sarah and I exchanged these happy words. Hannah watched us with a joyful smile. After that, Sarah and I built a relationship where we supported each other both at work and at home. I continued to achieve great results in sales, becoming her reliable right-hand man. Both Sarah and I earned promotions, and soon people started saying, they're not just a perfect couple, they're the power couple of the sales department. The company's performance kept improving as well. I felt more motivated than ever to keep giving my best. Sometimes people are driven to work hard, even at personal sacrifice, for the sake of someone else. I believe that's what love is. I'm incredibly happy to have shown my love to Sarah and Hannah. In return, Sarah showed me her deepest gratitude and love, and our little angel, Hannah, always gave me the brightest, most joyful smile. I vowed once again to cherish Sarah and Hannah and to build a happy, loving family together. I'm a 35-year-old male named Tom. I had a really dramatic past, but I'm really happy now. I want everyone to know about that period because of this. Nick, my younger brother, is exceptionally intelligent. In contrast to me, he was exceptionally intelligent and always achieved flawless grades in primary school without any study time. Our parents had high hopes that he would be accepted into one of the state's elite private middle schools. However, despite my best efforts, I did not study effectively and had below average grades. My grades didn't get any better despite my best efforts, and I consistently received a math score of about 50. Oh, why is your brother so stupid when Nick is so intelligent? By the time he reaches middle school, he will have lost all hope if his elementary arithmetic results are this low. It's simply pitiful. I'm doing my best, though. How can you say you did well with scores like this? I received a score of 70 in social studies. Quit being foolish. You would undoubtedly receive a perfect grade if you were making an effort. Perhaps you ought to learn from Nick. That is unfair. Ha! You're being reprimanded. You're so stupid, dude. I am capable of resolving these issues. Is 6th grade your actual grade? You might want to start anew in 1st grade. Every time my mother saw my test results, she became irate. She would be upset if I didn't show her my test results, therefore I didn't want to. I had no other option, and I was furious with my brother for making fun of me. Our parents lavished him with attention, and he behaved arrogantly. He simply considered making fun of me and showed me absolutely no respect. He didn't seem cute to me, and I wanted he would go away. But I felt as though I was the one who was unnecessary in this home. As a child, I was greatly affected by my parents' comments that it would be better if I wasn't around. After that, I attended middle school. Even though my courses were challenging, I was rather happy because I had made some wonderful friends. In particular, I began spending a lot of time with Jake, a classmate. I was a little jealous of his mom's affection for him, even though they were a single-parent family and led a simple life. When I visited Jake's mom, she always offered me snacks, even if she was exhausted. They weren't costly, but I was quite appreciative. She treated everyone equally and had a constant smile. She seemed so different from my parents, in my opinion. My mom handled the office job while my dad served as president of the company my parents owned. Despite being the son of a president, I never experienced love. Although I recalled having a reasonably comfortable upbringing, I believed they spent more money for my brother. When it came to field trip food, for example, there was a slight variation. My mother gave me a $1 bill when the school led us to purchase snacks up to $3, but my brother received a $10 bill. My brother seemed unconcerned, even though I believed I was not permitted to purchase so many food. Enjoying his role as king, he distributed snacks to every student in the class. I learned early on that material wealth isn't the only factor in pleasure because I was raised with such partiality. My mother then revealed something startling to me over the summer break of my 3rd year of middle school. I intended to enroll in a summer course at a tutoring facility my friend frequented in order to strengthen my weak areas in science and arithmetic. I need a favor, Mom. The station has a tutoring center with a summer course. Attending the course does not require you to be a regular student, they claimed. You receive a discount if you enroll in 5 subjects. What? A course for the summer? Yes, I struggle with science and math. My friend informed me that taking all 5 topics is more cost-effective than just those 2. We're short on funds for it. We could spend the money on Nick instead of you, so it's a waste. Please release me. I'll put a lot of effort into studying. You don't need to study since you're going to quit school and get a job. Well done. You are no longer bound by your weak subjects. Wait, what do you mean? It indicates that you will leave school to work for our organization. Do you not understand? It's a waste of time and money to send you to high school. Instead, put in a lot of effort at work. No. I also want to attend high school. Dude, stop being so self-centered. You're upsetting Mom. Middle school is plenty for you because you're not that intelligent anyhow. You ought to work for us since you're a complete failure. Will you harm me in any way, Nick? Terrifying. Will you try anything on your younger brother? Enough. I hurried back to my room and banged the door to the living room because I was so angry. My brother embarrassed me, and Mom's words saddened me. I was unable to control my tears and even make decisions about my own future. Dad was stern and would scold me for even the smallest infractions. In retrospect, I believe my parents were poisonous and our family was dysfunctional. However, as a child, all I could do was cry, growing suspicious of my parents and hateful of my brother. In my 3rd year of middle school, winter arrived. I knew it was too late for me, so I just stared blankly at the skies as everyone else studied diligently for their high school admission examinations. Hey, I heard you're going to drop out and work? Yeah, my parents want me to join their company. Well, your dad is the president. Yeah, but they told me I wasn't worth sending to high school, that it would be a waste of money. That's difficult. I considered working immediately to support my mother. She overexerted herself and became ill. What, is your mom okay? The doctor advised her not to put herself under undue stress. She has a bad heart. Tom, it is awful. Don't appear so depressed. Let's demonstrate our abilities to them. Let's disprove those who think we're unworthy of dropping out. Let's put in a lot of effort and have faith that we will be rewarded eventually. You're correct. I apologize. I shouldn't pretend that I'm the only one who has issues. Everybody has challenges of their own. I know it's tough for you too, but don't give up no matter what. Yeah, I'll keep fighting. You too, Jake. Jake supported me despite his difficult circumstances, and I was appreciative. I was a little embarrassed since I had always felt that I was the only one going through hardship. I made the decision to work harder and maintain my optimism because I was determined not to let Jake outdo me. Perhaps good things will happen to me too someday. I chose to overlook the fact that my parents continued to treat me coldly and lavished my brother with attention. My brother finally quit bothering me when I stopped responding to his grating remarks. If I didn't answer, he probably thought it was no fun. As a recent middle school graduate, I began working at my parents' business in April. My father was unforgiving. He treated me like a rag and assigned me all of the difficult chores. He threw all of the work that had previously been done by other staff onto me. He simply yelled at me when I questioned him. You're still not getting it. You fool, how many times must I teach you? But no justifications. You're useless because of this. Simply complete the task and resume your work. Yes, how could I have a boy like you? Nick is a masterpiece, smart and attractive. You are merely a flawed product. Such as this. Dad showed me a defective goods with his hand. He then tossed it in the garbage. He seemed to be discarding me. Years went by. It was my 30th birthday. Despite attending a reputable institution and graduating from a private middle and high school, Nick chose to stay at home instead of looking for work. He was just a jobless college graduate to me. I don't have to work because I'm learning how to profit from stocks. However, there's no assurance that it will work, is there? Nope, it will be easy with my intellect. Bro, just be quiet. Oh, I see. Even after graduating from college, my brother continued to spend his time at home doing nothing productive. However, my parents didn't chastise him. Instead, they stated, in a casual tone, he'll make it big someday. It was pointless to say anything to them, but I didn't think that would ever happen. I therefore chose not to alert my parents. My parents and I were working at the company one morning. As I took on the challenging activities at 30, I felt like my age was catching up with me. I turned to see where the crash was coming from when I heard it all of a sudden. I noticed my dad had passed out. Dad, help, please. Call an ambulance instead. My dad died soon after we got to the hospital, but we called an ambulance right away. A heart attack occurred. Dad had been warned he had a bad heart and was overweight, yet he persisted in his bad habits. He most likely died from a huge heart attack as a result. When Mom let out a loud cry, my brother, who had hurried over, became pale. Oddly enough, though, I felt happy that the one thing that held me back was gone rather than depressed. Perhaps I'm ungrateful, but only someone who grew up with toxic parents would comprehend. I wasn't even depressed throughout the funeral. My mother chastised me for it, calling me the worst son. A week later, Mom gave my brother and I a call. "I need to talk to you, so please sit down." All right. Now that your father is gone, we must consider the business. You will take over the business, Nick. Your worthless brother has been sacked as of right now. How come? You understand? Nick will now be in charge of the business. Well, but I'd like to continue researching stocks. Only you have the right to be president, I beg you. Mom, if you ask like that, I can't say no. However, is it possible for me to study stocks in my spare time? Obviously. Hold on a second. After all of my hard work for this company, you're sacking me and appointing Nick as the new president. It's not fair. What were your thoughts? You might be the president. Your education is limited to middle school. You can't possibly be the president. Keep me from laughing. An education from middle school. However, it was you and Dad that forced me to drop out of high school. You can't make fun of me for that. You have no right to speak to me in that manner. You were born to me. How can you say things like that to me? But enough. You're going out of this house. You are not needed by us. Everything she said left me stunned. This is how I was treated after putting in as much labor as a worker ant for the corporation. When she claimed to have given birth to me, I couldn't handle it. I didn't want to think like a child, even at my age, but I believed that parents shouldn't say things like, "I gave birth to you," or "I raised you." I didn't appreciate the patronizing, "I did this for you" mentality because having kids is a way to feel good about yourself. I wouldn't want to say such things to my children if I ever had some. I made the decision to leave the house after my mother told me so much. I returned to my room, gathered my belongings, and made the decision to bring only the necessities. I thought I could remain at a business hotel while I looked for an apartment, but I had nowhere specific to go. I left the house and checked into a business hotel in the area. It felt calm in the room without my mother and brother. Nobody was around to annoy me or say hurtful things. I was thinking about my classmate Jake while I relaxed in my room. I wanted to know how he was doing. I called him since I hadn't spoken to him in a while. "Hi, Jake. What's going on over there?" "Well, the factory where I was employed just closed." "How come?" "In actuality, I was fired from the corporation after my father passed away." "Your father passed away?" "Yes, but oddly, I didn't feel depressed." "Does that imply that I am a horrible son?" "You said that your parents were unjust to you and always disapproved of you. Perhaps it makes sense. What did you do after being expelled then?" "My mother fired me and announced that she was handing the business over to my brother. She then evicted me from the house as well, although I suppose it was time for me to go anyhow." "I understand. Hey, how about we get started together? Hey, let's create our own business from the ground up." "But is that really possible?" "Indeed. Come on, let's do it." So I summoned Jake to a coffee shop. There, we discussed a wide range of topics. Jake stated that he would really benefit if our business turned a significant profit. He had to work to support his mother because she was still not feeling well. We made plans because, fortunately, I had a good amount of money saved. We first found a place to live. We got everything in order after speaking with a lawyer Jake knew. We worked fast, and soon our business was up and running. My family's business was directly across the street from mine, and it had a large, eye-catching sign. When I entered and left the building, my brother and mother were taken aback. "Is this place being rented by you?" "That's correct." But isn't this place really expensive for rent? We can afford it because we have raised enough money. How did you attain the funds? From YouTube. Stories I shared on toxic parents received a lot of views. Wait, are you referring to me? Perhaps. This location and this enormous sign were mentioned in an interview with the industry. Yes, it is a publishing company for comics. I was aware of it. I'm confident in my ability to generate ideas, but I'm not very good at writing or painting. As a child, I always liked comics and aspired to be a comics artist, but I was a lousy sketcher. After that, I considered writing novels, but I wasn't very good at it either. Despite my best efforts, I could only write at an elementary school level. However, I was always the one coming up with ideas for theater class since I was skilled at coming up with them. I had to drop out of middle school and gave up on my dream of attending an art school and pursuing a creative profession. However, I came to the realization that academic background is irrelevant. I knew it was feasible without a degree because my favorite YouTuber, who does graphics, also dropped out of middle school. I posted controversial content to make money because I didn't want to be a YouTuber myself, and it gained some attention. I assumed they must have a lot of free time, yet there were condescending and trollish comments. I appreciate you watching, and I continued to post. I launched a comics publishing company with the money I made. My company published comics, but they weren't the same as comics for boys or girls. Our area of expertise was ladies' comics, which are well liked by housewives. The majority of our works were based on my ideas, although typically women would come up with the stories or the authors would start from fresh. The media took notice when word spread that a man was creating these dramatic, female-focused plots. I didn't reveal my identity, but the business gained notoriety very fast. Abandoned by toxic parents. Jessica's Revenge, our first single, was a big hit. Jessica, the main character, was working at the start of the novel after dropping out of middle school and being taken advantage of by her parents. It struck a profound chord with readers. You're the president of this company, so you were behind those weird comics. Yeah, they're my passionate creations. What a jerk you are. I become the villainous sister character because of you. I never said the character was based on you. It's not slander or defamation. Anyone who sees it can tell it's me, so don't act foolish. No one can tell it's you because I didn't make it that clear. Furthermore, shouldn't you be the one concerned about being sued for slander and defamation? What do you mean? I appreciate you using your real name to post those horrible remarks on my YouTube channel. I've submitted a disclosure request already. Please wait. I'm happy to have a pal who is a lawyer. Friends are priceless, thanks to Jake. Not at all. What will become of me? I'm not sure. All I know is that you'll most likely be held accountable. Unaware that it was my channel, my brother would boastfully post derogatory remarks like, "The uploader is an idiot." Instead of ignoring it, I made the decision to file the disclosure request as a lesson to him. Individuals who believe they can do anything they want in a world where they can remain anonymous are mistaken. My brother became pale and began to shake. I couldn't help but smile when I thought he might even pee himself. Well, I have a meeting with a comics artist, so I'll get going. Wait, Steve. I need to go earn even more cash. I'm so busy. I went into the office, ignoring my mother. A comics artist met with Jake and me. I gave her the concept for her next piece because she was a fresh artist and did a fantastic job creating dramatic scenarios. You're quite skilled at generating ideas, Tom. I look up to you because I struggle with it, but I rely on the comics artists since I'm not good at drawing or writing. Writers were even hired to create the YouTube content. That channel attracted a lot of interest. People enjoy dramatic tales, don't they? Indeed, it demonstrates how anxious people are these days. People who enjoy dramatic fiction may be coping with personal hardship. Our responsibility is to assist them in letting go of that tension. Life in the modern world is undoubtedly stressful. You've been really helpful, Jake. You're quite good at picking up on details and identifying errors fast. I did work at a printing factory, though. I struggle with details since I'm a big picture person. I'm not very good at finding errors because of this, but Jake makes up for it. Jake's expertise at identifying typos and errors stems from his previous employment at a printing facility. There haven't been any misprints yet. It would have been a disservice to our readers if we had. Since our publishing house is still small, we must gradually build up a track record in order to get credibility. For this reason, we take great care to ensure that our comics are error-free. My brother has to deal with the fallout ever since. He received a fine for both slander and defamation. Although it wasn't much, my brother was unable to pay and knelt down to ask for pardon. That fool made poor stock investments and lost a lot of money. I told him we wouldn't need the police or attorneys if baiting worked because I didn't intend to forgive him. Our family business eventually filed for bankruptcy. The reason for this was that my brother invested in stocks using money from the company. This wouldn't have occurred if he hadn't made such foolish decisions. However, I was no longer obligated to assist him. I made the decision to live without a family. But I had an important experience when I was 33. A 28-year-old woman approached us while I was searching for new comics creators. She had submitted her work to a number of publications, but had not heard back. After seeing our work, she decided to attempt making dramatic ladies comics, even though she had been hesitant about it. Retaliation was not the only theme in our works. The protagonist's happiness was the most important aspect. In essence, it was a Cinderella tale, and comics of this kind were gaining popularity. Although I didn't watch many dramas, I had heard that Korean dramas frequently have this structure. I began studying Korean dramas since Korean idols, cosmetics, and dramas were popular among women in their 20s. They proved to be quite helpful, and I was inspired to write The Ugly Duckling Who Became a Princess After Plastic Surgery. Indeed, the protagonist's transformation in Korea works effectively since Korean cosmetic surgery and makeup are well known. Yeah, I thought it would be interesting if everyone treated her differently when she returned to the States. I'd want a scene where everyone turns to look at her. I understand. She gets so stunning that people gasped. Although she should be first portrayed as extremely ugly to the point of being pathetic, she has a good-hearted and caring nature. Comprehensive. The bullies should have a mediocre appearance, not exceptionally attractive, but not unattractive either. Oh, and the protagonist should also have liposuction. Yes, I am aware of folks who have had liposuction in Korea. She could then get into amazing shape. She could make a lot of money and become a famous hostess. Then her nasty old classmates might become clients. That sounds great, but she doesn't reveal her identity as they hit on her without realizing who she is. How about that? Jake, that's a fantastic concept. It's fascinating. Regards. Do you think some mature scenes would be a good addition? Women in their 30s are the target audience for this. Sure, something for working women who are tired from their jobs. Exactly. Women who are frustrated are motivated to continue after reading the ending. Not only to exact retribution, but also because the protagonist finds happiness on her own. I got it. I'll try it out. Excited, Emily, the artist, produced The Ugly Duckling, who underwent plastic surgery and became a princess. Sarah, the amiable but incredibly ugly main character, is a victim of bullying. She is regularly made fun of by her high school peers since she is not only fat, but also ugly. The lads dislike her, and when she writes a letter to one of them confessing her love, he discards it. After being devastated, Sarah puts in a lot of work and goes to Korea by herself. She has full-body plastic surgery there. She undergoes liposuction, has her jaw, eyes, and nose altered, and becomes a lovely beauty. She is so stunning that she gets a double take at the airport when she returns to the United States. Sarah becomes the best hostess by using her beauty. She quickly reconnects with her old classmates and eventually finds her true love. Our little publishing business expanded dramatically, and the comic became a success. In the end, a well-known actress played Sarah in the TV drama adaptation of the comic. They depicted her ugly and gorgeous hostess phases using special effects. As a token of appreciation for her efforts, I took Emily to AAL. I was happy that I invited Emily out, and she loved spending time with me. We started dating more and grew closer to one another. My desire to tell Emily how I felt grew stronger as I got to know her more. But Emily had graduated from an art university, and I had dropped out of high school. I made the brave decision to come clean, even though I didn't think she would be interested in someone like me. I got the confidence I needed when Jake told me to go for it if I liked her. Emily, there's something I want to tell you. What is it? I want you to seriously consider our future together. Are you saying that you were thinking about marriage? Indeed. Despite my lack of knowledge and my middle school dropout status, I want to be with you going forward. Emily, I can't lie to myself any longer. Please take my request to date seriously, since I would love to marry you in the future. I'm grateful. The same thing has been my desire. What? I'd be happy to be more than just work partners with you. Emily happily agreed to my suggestion. I was glad that I had voiced my emotions. Everyone follows their own route in life, according to Emily, who didn't mind that I dropped out of middle school. The fact that Emily was my girlfriend made me happy and thankful. After that, we got married. That was when I was 34. Although my brother and parents were not present for the wedding, our staff members and Jake, my business partner and close friend, joined in the celebration. Above all, I was pleased to have Emily's parents accept me. Though she had trouble coming up with ideas, Emily kept up her hard work as a comic artist, even after she married me. I believed she had a great deal of creativity, and her artwork was superb. She created engaging imagery. Emily's artwork and my story ideas were used to make a number of pieces. In addition, Jake fostered and managed numerous talents. Our business expanded gradually and gained recognition in the market for women's comics. Emily seemed ill just before my 35th birthday. She added, "Actually, I've been told I'm expecting," which made me wonder whether it was something she ate. What? We are expecting a child. You're going to be a father. Me? A dad? Indeed, you will become a father. I'm overjoyed. That's incredible. I was so emotional that I raised Emily up. I placed my ear to her tummy, imagining the baby growing and moving inside her even though I couldn't hear anything yet. I looked forward to seeing our child every day and was thrilled to meet them. Then Emily went into labor when I was 35. After giving it her all, Emily gave birth to a healthy boy. I was crying as I held him because I couldn't believe such a lovely little creature existed. My life was no longer solely mine from this point on. For my wife, Emily, and our baby, I had to live my best life. Whatever difficulties we faced, I knew I could bear them for their benefit. This was my pride as a father and my resolve as a man. Despite having toxic parents as a youngster, I was concerned about whether I could really love my child. However, I believe I'm doing all right. Although raising a child is undoubtedly difficult, I am filled with love as I see him develop every day. My brother and I were treated very differently by our parents, and I never understood why. Yes, they probably liked my brother more since he was smarter and more charming. However, I am aware that I could never choose to forsake one child over the other, even if we have another. I'll try to be the greatest parent I can be and use my parents as an example of what not to do, even if one of them seemed less capable. Emily and I intend to help each other raise our child because we both work. Additionally, Jake met a girlfriend, and the two of them intend to tie the knot shortly. I envision a society in which people who persevere through adversity are ultimately rewarded.